Alibi, folks, alibi. I know I'm starting off with a gosh dang alibi again. The reason why is because I messaged the brothers over at the Arsenal of Pew Pews to explain, to tell me what color palette this is. And originally in the video, I'm calling this sucker Ghost Green, but instead it's really Desert Weathering, which is why it blends so well with Desert Rifles, um, the Desert Rifles that they did to the M4. I did not know that it was. Well, I mean, that explains why it's closer to matching these than anything else. So that's all I wanted to say. So in the video, it's going to say, I keep insisting that it's Ghost Green, but it's not. It's Desert Weathering. So just ignore that part where it's Ghost Green, even though I think it has Phantom Ghost Green kind of tendencies, but it is just Desert Weathering. All right, folks, on to the video. Greetings, folks, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Kokos Moore with The Casual Collector, and in this segment of What Tough Scale Military Action Figures Takes, I'm showcasing the Arsenal of Pew Pews M4 with M26 Moss suppressed. Now, I know you're seeing more than just what I'm talking to you about, because I wasn't sure whether it would, how I would make it all kind of match, right? Because this is the only thing that I received from the Arsenal of Pew Pews, which they hooked me up with. This was one of the free gifts that they hooked me up with for my a bunch of my recent orders, and I've never seen a color like this, and I didn't know who or what it would belong to until this figure came along, and I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe this thing matches, and it really does. Right now, I'm calling it Phantom Green or Ghost Green for now because it's greenish with tan-like tendencies. Right, like it matches this, which is the lighter green, side of things, and it even matches this, which is a little bit more on the brownish, tannish, coyote-ish light kind of thing going on. And it started to beg the question: what is the closest thing to this color that I got? Well, the answer was these Desert M4s. And I was like, you know what? How close is the color palette from here to here to here? And if you ask me, it looks pretty darn close, right? So I was like, okay, well, it looks like they could play this off too, based on just the lighter shade of their camouflage, right? And yeah, so I got two of them, and I took them from the guys who I was going to make them their permanent weapons for, but just for congruency demonstration, right? To see how would something like this fare with something that's obviously not desert. And you know what? It works. At least the desert version one of the Arsenal of Pew Pews rifles, based solely on the color scheme here, with this, like a little bit of a blend. So it really kind of makes sense still. Garen thumb approved. But yeah, you guys already seen this, but I was like, well, man, I don't have nothing else that comes close. So what is the squad gonna rock without this looking super out of place? Because look, uh, you'll understand what I mean when I say this. When I show you guys from a previous video, this color, which I feel is congruent with what they're doing, when matched with this as a tandem, it kind of sticks out. You know what I'm saying? It really, really sticks out. Versus if they were doing this, in which case they look like they just kind of blendish a little bit together. Versus this, which is a little aggressively different, right? Well, in this case, this would be the one that was aggressively different by virtue of the other M4 that I had, going with him, which I cannot seem to. Oh, here you go. These that was my permanent, Desert 10 M4 guys, but for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to let you understand why it kind of this will now stick out like a doggone sore thumb from the rest of his buddies because of how dark everything else is. And here he is with the light weapon, you know? So, yeah, so I was kind of like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Right? Like, how was I going to be able to reconcile the match? Right? Well, here's the thing. Here's what this looks like. That same exact weapon, except in just all black, right? Will it help him to blend more with these guys if it was all black? We're about to find out, right? We're about to find out. Yeah, I ordered this. I fell in love with this weapon when I first saw it. I was like, dude, this thing is huge. This is something that Stalker or Grunt can rock, and or any of the Joes can rock, or Beachhead, and look very, very demure. Just kidding. But yeah. So now, oh gosh, dang it! This thing from my new guy just so stubborn to put on his head. I am so sorry, folks. I'm just so clumsy today with this. But yeah, now it looks like it kind of blends because of the black paint that they got going on, but it still kind of sorely sticks out because of how black that is still too. But it tends to blend a little bit better just because of how black the rest of the rifles are. Yet noticeably, this is dark, but if I was to put the Phantom Green, obviously that would stick out even more, I would say, right? Because it's just nowhere near as close. So yeah. Anyways, let us look at the details of this weapon, right? It's got the scope with this really awesome, like, covered, suppressed look with cloth, but it's not really cloth. It's uh, the 3D print replicating cloth, or presenting as, which yeah, and it's a good doggone look, guys. I think it really, it is. Now, I gotta admit, I don't know, anyone else who could really rock this weapon, because their color schemes just don't seem to match this. But I'm very fortunate that these guys actually do. These guys are the only things that can. So I kind of wish that I had more weapons that will have this ghost green or phantom green, whatever kind of green that they got going on. Tan green that can't make up its mind of what kind of thing it is, right? Oh, jeez. This is one of the tough things about this one. I think the ankle or the weight is distributed funny on this one for this fig. The others you seem to recognize now. Okay, so again, as I put on the desert, you'll see that it'll quickly seem like they all kind of blend together. So it's almost like a universal color weapon that anybody can rock, and somehow it would make sense to uh, at least that's the impression that I get when I see the way this is all put together. Like this could blend with the rest with Desert Tan, even though it's clearly not, but it's close. It's a cousin, close. Step close to it, right? So yeah, I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Like, Y'all seeing the same things that I'm seeing, at least as far as the congruency test goes, right? Y'all see that, the blend like I do, or did it make more sense that, it came, that with these guys armed with this? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm thinking this at least more congruent with that. So, all right, folks, that's all I got for this segment of One to Scale Military Action Figures Takes. The M4 with M26 Moss suppressed from the arsenal of Pew Pews. I am your host, Coco Smooth, the Casual Collector. And until the next video, folks, ciao.